So here I've started to modify the input factor for the squash deformer. Okay, so if you look real carefully here on this view, there's the squash deformer. All right, it's on. It's inside the group, and if I click on squash handle and then go to the channel box, look for the inputs. Right there is the factor. Okay, and you can see these keyframes are what I've done so far. So if we go back a little bit, and let me get us to a point you can see this a little better. If I scrub through this, what you'll see is the big ball here, the closest one to see, is starting to anticipate, squashing, coming out, going up to its peak, and then coming back down. So it's now in its normal, it's come to its normal size by the time it's hit the peak. It remains in that normal size, and just before it gets to the ground, I start to anticipate, to emphasize the squash, and it comes out again, goes up to the next. So you can see there's 3 of them here. So I'm going to create 2 more, and I thought this way you could see what it looks like and also how I made them. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to click on the ball, and I'm going to use my go to next keyframe arrow here, the one that has the arrow with the red line, and it goes there. That's where the balls is already squished. Okay, so I need to probably go 1 more down. Okay, yep. So I'm going to go back, click on the ball, and look for the next place where the ball hits the ground, right there. Okay. So this is the same procedure I've done each time. So the ball's on the ground. I select the squash handle, and then I go to the factor and I change the factor. So when the ball's on the ground, now what I've been doing is kind of going a little bit less each time. So I started at negative 0.6, and I'm now going to go to 2 because I've gone through 3, 4. And you can see, so what I'm saying is the ball squashes a little bit less as it loses energy. It's not starting from such extreme height. So I'm making the squash a little bit milder each time. So originally back here, the squash factor was negative 0.6, then it went to negative 0.5, negative 0.4, and now it should be negative 0.3. I guess I got a little ahead of myself there. I'm guessing that that 10th each time will give me a little more subdued squash. Okay, so I've got the squash, and I've got to key that. Now, I'm going to go a frame. So I'm not using the keyframe one. I'm using this go to the previous frame. So I'm moving back to 83. Oh, I'm sorry, going the wrong way. Oop. Okay, so I'm coming, this is where I'm coming off. This is where I'm preceding it coming down, okay? So at this point, I'm going to go back 2 frames. So I was, let's review real quick. At frame 84, I'm fully squashed. I'm on the ground. So I'm going back 2 frames, preceding that, frame 82. And I'm going to change the squash factor there to 0. Okay, and I'm going to say key selected. Okay, so the ball during its descent stays in its full shape. To try to suggest the or create anticipation, I'm going to go 1 frame before it hits the ground, frame 83, and I'm going to change that factor. Actually, the opposite way. I'm going to make it go 0.1 up in the air. Okay, so it doesn't do this. There's no way the physics makes the ball do this. It's just totally for animation effect that I'm adding it. I'm making it stretch like that. And then it should, when I go one more frame, be squished. Now I come out of that and I want to rebound, if you will. So I'm going to go 0.15. Positive will make it go bigger. Again, I've been doing 0.2 in the previous ones, and I'm trying to make this a little less extreme, so that's why I'm doing 0.15. And then when we get to the point, we'll go click on the ball again. And now I'm going to go advance to the next keyframe. I'm looking for the point where it's at its peak. Okay, back up in the air. At that point, it should be 0 because it's back up in the air, okay? So let's see what it looks like. So I come here. Okay, here's my previous one. I come down to the ground, get anticipate, squash, rebound out of that, go up. I'm full size, factor is 0. Get right near the ground again, stretch a little bit, squash, recoil back out, and now I'm back up to my the ball, at least is back up to its normal shape. So that's how these are created. And I'm really just going to repeat that process for the remaining bounces I have on the journey. And that's really all you want to do.